Hello, Brent Kuhn here again. I wanted to give all of our clients involved in the youth addiction epidemic in our country an update on the status of litigation. As I mentioned just a week ago, we received our first positive verdict on these platforms. That involved the New Mexico Attorney General's office in conjunction with some private lawyers retained in the case, received a $375 million verdict against the social media industry for violations of New Mexico law regarding marketing and fraudulent misrepresentation. So that was the first verdict in favor of the plaintiffs on any of these social media and youth addiction platforms. On the heels of that, we were waiting on a result from the jury deliberations in California before the GCCP panel, and that case came out with a verdict just a few days ago, and it was $3 million for an individual who had all kinds of serious mental health problems associated to addiction to social media platforms. So our very first early test cases in this world have had very positive results. So as I'd indicated to you guys going in, there's a lot of uncertainty associated to where this litigation is going to go, how many people are going to get involved, and whether or not the industry is successful in their arguments on appeal of these verdicts associated to the immunity claims that they say that they have out there regarding their First Amendment rights and other constitutional reasons that they should not be held accountable for these actions. We're hoping that at the end of the day, after the results of these appeals, which typically last a year longer, that our appellate courts will stand firm with where the trial courts ended up with these cases, and that we continue to have additional progress in this arena. Nonetheless, it's going to be a long-term process. I did want to call your attention to another article that came out just this weekend, and this was one that was a recap from a Face the Nation interview that involved one of our ex-surgeon generals. And the comments were associated to the fallout from these verdicts. Now that we have the media seeing these verdicts, they start talking to people that are knowledgeable in the industry and saying, what's really going on here? And on Face the Nation, they had our former Surgeon General, Jerome Adams, and he commented that these media platforms, this is from our former Surgeon General, United States Surgeon General, said, are specifically designed to addict adolescents and teenagers, similar to cigarettes, how cigarettes were marketed. This is very similar to the things that we were saying very, very early on in this litigation, because I have a lot of experience from our handling of the tobacco litigation for the state of Texas and for some other states many years ago, back late 1990s, early 2000s. And what we found at that time was that the entire tobacco industry and their marketing agents were constantly illegally and improperly targeting minors because they knew that if minors started smoking before they were adults, they were much more likely to continue smoking through their lifetimes. Whereas if they didn't start smoking until after they were adults, they very rarely became a regular tobacco product user. So again, here we have our former Attorney General commenting on it. And he actually quoted another former Attorney General who was Vivek Murphy. And that Attorney General had actually issued a report a couple of years ago that had commented on the problems associated with these links with social media and general mental health, and commented and said that that the study showed that there was increased anxiety, increased depression, less sleep, which tends to lead to mental health problems, and also obesity and other health-related problems. So again, these things that are coming out, even through our former state and U.S. attorneys and attorneys general, and surgeon generals bode very well for the arguments that we're making in this case. So I did want to call those things to your attention. Again, we're a long ways from the finish line in this litigation. It's very early on in this race, but these early results are very positive for what's going on. We'll keep you posted.
You've been watching a litigation update with Brent Kuhn and Associates. Brent Kuhn and Associates is a nationally recognized law firm and the epitome of the 21st century law practice. The firm has built its reputation on the satisfaction of its clients and the respect of both colleagues and opponents. Our mission is to help ensure that individuals' rights are protected and their well-being respected. For more information about Brent Kuhn and Associates and current litigation, please visit bkuhnlaw.com.